He looked me straight in the eye and said the words that burned into my brain forever. "You don't have to like it, you just have to pay it." At 23 years old, newly married and just trying to save for a home, I felt powerless as my landlord exploited us, raising our rent by $500 simply because he was jealous of how much money I made. But here's the thing about life: sometimes, revenge doesn't come overnight. Sometimes it takes years, a little patience, and the perfect opportunity. And when my chance finally came, I made sure he lost $20,000, the sweetest payback I could have ever dreamed of. If you've ever had someone take advantage of you just because they could, hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a like, and let me know in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge story you've ever witnessed? Because today, you're about to hear how I turned my landlord's greed into the most poetic justice of my life. Back in the late 90s, life looked pretty promising for me and my wife. We were newlyweds, and we had a plan: go full dink mode, double income, no kids. We wanted to save as much as possible, as fast as possible, so we could put a solid down payment on a house. I had just landed what felt like a golden ticket job. I was a young software developer, only 23, and had just been recruited into a new city at triple my old salary. $75,000 in the late 90s felt like striking oil. Combine that with my wife's income, and we were sitting pretty at six figures, something neither of us ever imagined so early in life. But instead of blowing that money, we decided to live lean. My entire paycheck went straight into savings, while we lived only on her salary. If we stuck to the plan, in a year we'd have enough for a 20% down payment. So we rented this modest two-bedroom condo for $950 a month. Cheap, clean, nothing fancy. The landlord, a thin, gray man named Hank Wazowski, was a real estate agent who owned the place as an investment. From the start, Hank rubbed me the wrong way. He wasn't rude, exactly, just dry, stiff, condescending. He made a point during our walkthrough to tell us that the garbage disposal wasn't included in the lease, so if it broke, that was our problem. Who even says that to tenants? But here's the kicker. When he saw my income on the rental application, his eyes widened. "I can't believe how much money you make," he muttered, again and again, almost under his breath. At first, I thought he was just making small talk. But over the next year, every time I saw him, he brought it up. Always with this bitter little edge, like he couldn't wrap his head around a kid in his 20s making more than him. Fast forward a year. We'd saved like crazy, found our dream house, and signed the papers. But here was the timing problem: our new home wouldn't be ready for 2 more months after our lease ended. No problem, right? Hank had already told me it would be fine to go month to month after our lease. So I called him, explained we just needed 2 more months, and he agreed. He said he'd send over an extension. When the papers came in the mail, my blood pressure spiked. The extension included the month-to-month option, but with a $500 rent increase. From $950 to $1,450. A 50% jump. I called him immediately. "Hank, why are you raising the rent by $500? That's more than our new mortgage will be. He didn't even flinch. In the most condescending voice, he said, "It's what the apartment goes for now. I'd be losing money renting it for less." I pushed back, reasoning, pleading, reminding him of our agreement. That's when he cut me off and delivered the line I'll never forget. "You don't have to like it. You just have to pay it." That sentence lodged itself into my chest like a thorn. He knew we had no choice. We couldn't crash with friends for 2 months. We couldn't move all our stuff into storage. He had us trapped, and he knew it. So I paid. Twice. 2 checks, each $1,450. I made sure the apartment was spotless when we left, scrubbed every inch. But still, Hank found a way to squeeze me one last time. He withheld $300 from our security deposit. Petty, baseless charges. In total, he wrung about $1,200 out of us in those final months. Not life-ruining, but infuriating. It wasn't about the money, it was about the disrespect. The smug way he said I had no choice but to obey. To make matters worse, I saw his ad in the paper a month later. He listed the place for only $150 more than our original rent. Not the outrageous $500 hike he charged me. And guess what? Nobody rented it. A month later, he lowered it again, this time to just $75 above our old rent. He didn't even get away with it. But that didn't make me feel better. I moved on with my life, bought the house, started a family. I told myself to forget about Hank. And for 5 years, I did. Until one day at work, I heard a name that stopped me cold. I was walking past the reception desk when my coworker Phil mentioned it. "Hey, if a Hank Wazowski comes by, let me know. He's dropping off paperwork." That taste of bile rose in my throat. Surely, it couldn't be the same Hank. But I asked anyway. And Phil confirmed it. Yes, Hank was his real estate agent. Phil was selling his condo and buying a house. 2 massive transactions. Which meant Hank was about to cash in on a $20,000 commission. And then, right on cue, the door opened. And there he was. Hank Wazowski. The man who told me I didn't have to like it, I just had to pay it. He didn't recognize me at first. But when Phil introduced us, I made sure to jog his memory. "Remember me, Hank? The software developer. My wife and I rented from you on street. Saving up for a house. That's where I work now, right here. With Phil." The moment it clicked in his eyes, I knew he remembered everything. And I also knew exactly what I had to do. Later, when Hank left, Phil turned to me, confused. "What was that about?" I told him everything. The rent hike. The deposit theft. The smug line. The whole story. And to Phil's credit, he didn't hesitate. "There's no way I can use him now," he said. "What a dick." Then Phil grinned. "What do you want me to say when I fire him?" Oh, it was delicious. We rehearsed the lines together, made sure every word cut deep. The next day, Phil made the call, with me standing right beside him. "Hi Hank, it's Phil." "Yeah, about that, I've decided to get some quotes from other agents. I'm not going to sign with you." I could hear Hank scrambling on the other end, trying to save the deal. Phil paused, then delivered the dagger. "No, you shouldn't give me a discount. You'd be losing money if you did." "Well, you don't have to like it, Hank. You just have to accept it. Goodbye." In that moment, 5 years of resentment melted away. He had stolen $1,200 from me. But now, because of me, he lost $20,000. And the best part? He knew exactly why. I'll never forget the look in his eyes when I reintroduced myself that day. The way realization dawned on him that his petty little power play years ago had come back full circle to cost him 20 grand. Revenge doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes, it's a quiet phone call. A simple goodbye. And the knowledge that the person who wronged you finally felt the weight of their own greed. Here's the thing. People like Hank think they can treat others however they want, just because they hold power in the moment. But life has a funny way of evening the score. Never underestimate the quiet satisfaction of patience. Sometimes, revenge doesn't come tomorrow. But when it does, it's worth every second of the wait. If you enjoyed this story of long-awaited justice, hit that like button. It helps more people find these revenge stories. Subscribe for more true tales where karma hits harder than anyone expects. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen play out? Because sometimes, the best stories are the ones we share.